was a weird one. I picked up a guy to take him to go pick up his car. Apparently he was an ex-police officer or law enforcement guy. And he was reading my, Jesus and I have a right to exist, or, people with different spiritual belief systems have a right to exist. And he was telling me that something called the Catholic Charities were connected to missing children and dead children. And that it's very appalling and they don't put it in the news that much or something. And I thought, oh my gosh, you want to think that church hurting people is like an olden day nightmare that, someone stopped it or something. Or you want to believe that only religion, when it's a cult or something, would hurt somebody. And he was quoting big numbers, like big, huge amounts of people missing. And I thought, oh my gosh, a church? So, of course, being the nosy dead God that I am, I wanted to know what really happened and how you could be some Catholic organization. So yeah, it was a Catholic religion organization. And be connected to that many missing children. And apparently it was something about so many children trying to get through a border or something, and then they all ended up missing. And it was some sickening number, like 300-something thousand. It was big number. And like 3,000 dead. What he was saying would make anyone want to vomit. And I thought, well, I have to use my powers. What is this real? Did someone blame a poor church organization? What the heck? So I tried connecting to him to understand what he was talking about. The first thing I found inside of this nightmare of children missing, though, was the United States. So then it's like, well, what does the United States have to do with some religious organization? Well, the United States was helping this religious organization to succeed to an astronomical, sickening amount. That's why it was such a big number of poor missing children. So then you're like, but really a religious place is that sickening and unthinkable? So I went and I dissected where these children are connected to. And okay, so this Catholic organization, they got all the credit for all the crimes, but they only committed 1/7 of the crimes. So 1/7 of the amount of the crimes was this Catholic group that's actually very sadistic and sick in the head and sickening. A bunch of the other missing children were partners in crime with this Catholic group. But the Catholic group is not going to talk or tell anyone anything. And it's all fueled by corrupt government, which is why the numbers are out of control. I thought, oh my gosh, how could people be getting hurt like this? Goodness gracious. Well, the one thing I'm going to be grateful for is to ask you all to think or say my queen, my queen, my queen, and talk to the gods about fighting back. And maybe helping a lot of these kids get back to somewhere loving or safe. And then, like you think I'm going to do, I'm going to go try to do stuff. Why? That guy was a good guy. That guy was a good guy. And it's well known that if he's a good man, I get more power of God in this situation. Why? Because he knows a law enforcement guy that's connected to something real, connected to those crimes. So that law enforcement guy knows somebody real connected to the real crimes that have happened. That puts my power of God with a lot of advantage of good power. So I'm going to take my power of good and thank that guy off the charts with my powers and go see if I can ruin everything or get those kids to safe places. So if you guys want to help me, the best thing I love about a child of God is that you guys want to go with the angels or go with us and try to help the babies get to to a good place and a safe place. And, you know, I know it seems like a dream because you guys think you're saying, my queen, my queen, my queen. And then some angel is showing you a baby and you're saving that baby with the angel. But it's like a dream because it's a spiritual thing. But if you want to help babies or help somebody, you can tell an angel or a God through my queen, my queen, my queen, I want to save somebody where I can see them like in my life and see that I have saved them and talk to them about how they really got saved and that situation really happened after I do that with an angel, because it seems like a weird dream, like I'm not really doing something. Because yeah, it seems like a dream to go to spiritual work with an angel. It's that what's really happening is that a God is taking you out of your body to go to work with that angel and save somebody. But it feels weird, like a spiritual dream, like it doesn't seem real. So you can ask the gods and they'll organize you saving somebody, and then they'll organize so that you meet somebody that you saved so you can realize that it's real. Or you can talk to a God about somebody is a child God. So you can think or say, my queen, my queen, my queen, I just want to prove this stuff's real before I go to work with gods and angels. Okay, you can sit with a God that's answering somebody's prayer, and that person says, oh yeah, a random human can listen to my prayer. It's basic prayer. You know, but I could use a little help here or there. And then the God will organize for you to meet that person and have that person admit, oh yeah, you're the one that got to listen to my prayer with God that day. Yeah, I was thinking or saying my queen, my queen, my queen, and talking to the gods about whatever. So you're welcome. And that helps you just to know that what you're doing through my queen, my queen, my queen might seem like a weird dream or something, but it's the reality of how you go to work spiritually, and it's actually real. But yeah, the more prayers you guys can put in, the more power of God and power of good. So I'm going to beg everybody to think or say my queen, my queen, my queen, and say prayers for, it was like 300 some thousand children. It was like, it would make you want to vomit. It was numbers you just think should never exist anywhere to an extent. And they're children that ended up missing. So I'm going to beg you guys to think or say my queen, my queen, my queen, and try to pray a lot about these situations and realities and bring the power of good, so that Jesus, God, and I, and angels, and Zeus, and Buddha helps. Everybody helps us. You know, when it comes to the love of God, all kinds of powerful giants jump in, because when it comes to saving a baby, God has no pride, and God has nothing but friends, and God has nothing but begging every friend. So you'd be amazed how much everybody jumps in when like really bad, sad things happen to babies and stuff. So I'm going to beg you guys to pray and pray and pray through my queen, my queen, my queen, and bring it up to the gods, because that brings power good down here. And then I'll keep you guys posted if I can help ruin it with everybody, because that sounds depressing. But now I got to go with a bunch of angels and gods and figure out where all these kids are. How sad.